why you should start a business. Are you tired of struggling financially, living from paycheck to paycheck, not seeing your way financially as a business owner or just a person? Well, prospective and existing business owners. Do you want to eventually start making 10,000, 100,000, a million, a billion or more on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis? Well, this video is for you. So at the end of this video, you would gather information about, should I get a job or start a business? Or you can say, should I continue working in my job or should I start a business? Also, why everyone should start a business. Also, never start a business until you hear this, and 4 reasons to start a business during a recession. So you want to watch this video to the end to find out more about these questions. So let me give you a little story. I, like some of you all, always had this dream of becoming a business owner. From specifically for me, the age of 11. I started studying principles of business for 2 years at the ordinary level. Then I studied advanced, which is management, at upper or O levels, sorry, that's A levels, advanced. And I also studied business, a business degree, for 5 years. So I have been able to obtain 9 years of business knowledge from the school system. I graduated from university with an honors degree. However, from my experience, most of the things I was taught from my public school and university background, none of it really helped me to know how to hire persons, how to scale my business, all the important skills that I needed to run and maintain a successful business. I never learned how to level up and go to a different level of business, because there are more than one levels of business. Now, as a result, my first business that I started around 2017 would have failed at one point. And then I started another business, and that business is still existing up to this day. So, based on what I want to share with you, a number of it is based on my experience, and some of it is things that I have learned myself that I either started recently doing or implementing in my life so I can implement in my business, and there are others that I still would have to do. So, starting with the first one, in regards to why you should start a business, but at the same time, should you get a job or should you start your own business? So the first thing you really want to know here is that starting a business could be difficult if you need startup capital or a lot of startup capital. So some of you may not know what is capital. In a business, capital has to do with the amount of money you as the business owner invest into the business to start and operate your business. So there are different forms of businesses. So if it is you starting off as a sole trader, which most businesses or most entrepreneurs would start there, it means that your capital will consist of the money that you have, say like your savings, if you choose to use some or all. If you ask family and friends to, let's say, lend you money or give you money to help you operate. Also, if it is you request or apply for a loan at a bank or a credit union. So those are some of the ways that you could obtain startup capital, but at the same time, it really depends on if you get through with all of these, because not everybody's going to get through with a loan. Or if you get through with a loan, you might get a small loan as a sole trader of an individual business owner. In comparison to if you choose to start a business as a partnership, which is 2 to 20 persons in most countries. And then if you choose to go a private limited company, that's about 2 to 50 persons, or a public, which would be the type of business that can massively help you to eventually achieve a goal of 100,000, millions, billions and stuff a year. So you need to be clear on where you want to start off and based on where you want to start off, capital could be an issue, especially once you choose to start off as a sole trader. Now, of course, I personally started off as a sole trader myself, and I can tell you the struggles of being a sole trader. Yes, you have to use your own savings. It depends on the business type, meaning what product or service you intend to start off with. As I said, my first business would have failed. My first business was a product business, and eventually capital ran out, and I was working at the same time to sustain that business until the business could have sustained itself. But I was deceived by my former employer, and they didn't pay me the amount that they promised during the interview and stuff, and that caused me to go into a financial crisis. Of course, I have a video talking about that more, so some of you who have been listening or following along might have heard me speak more about that. Today I'm not going to go into all that detail, so you can always check my videos where I talk more about business, and you would be able to get that detail. On the other hand, generally speaking, businesses within their first year, there's some statistics according to Louisa, which states that about 18.4% of businesses fail within their first year. Also, by around the 5th year, 49.7% of businesses fail. When it comes around staying 10 years into business, about 65.6% of businesses fail, and only 25% make it beyond 15 years. So definitely I would advise, if you want to get into business and be an employer, I mean, you don't have to start off as an employee, because once you start off as an employee means you're going to have to hire people. So let's say you start off and you're the only person working in your business. Yes, you can start from there, and also at the same time you have to keep in mind that if it is your goal is to make as low as $10,000 a month, the possibility of you making that as an employee, meaning in a job, is minimal, because a lot of employers are not going to pay you that kind of money, especially if you are new to the workforce, if you are unexperienced, if you don't have a lot of high paying skills, right? You didn't develop skills that are high paid. Don't think that, yes, going to school and learning theory is good to an extent, but it's not going to guarantee you a very high income, especially right off the bat. And even if you want a high income, even though you have all your education like myself, and you want to work for someone, you want to work in a job, at the same time you will have to develop some high income skills that will help you elevate to a higher level in business, probably to go from an entry level to a manager, and probably from a manager to CEO. It depends on which company you're working for and what levels they have available, because if the company doesn't have a lot of levels, then you're going to be stuck and you're not going to be able to even get $20,000. Now, some persons will be fine with earning $20,000 a month. Let me tell you, as a business owner, I have been able to make that kind of money as a business owner, not working for persons at all. Now, there are individuals that I know, people like some principals, vice principals, depending on which school they work for, or different higher level managers who would make $20,000 a month. But think about it, you're not going to be able to start making $20,000 a month in your first year as an employee on a job. It may take you 10, 20, 30, almost your entire life, close to retirement. This is something I've seen when I was working in a public school, where by the time someone who used to teach me, one of my teachers, would have been promoted to the point where she was a vice principal, it's around there she started to make around 20,000, and that's like by the time she was like in her 50s. So if you want to wait so long, and then you have to think about it, it's more competition to get at that level working for somebody, because it's not just you alone competing for that spot. However, when it is you choose to start your own business though, you call the shots. You are in charge of how much money you make, how much money you lose, how much money everything that goes on, you are in charge of it, right? You are in charge of how you use your time and everything. So you are the one calling the shots. Therefore, it's easier to do that. Like from my experience, right? Like the first time I ever made like 20K, I could tell you that it was around my 4th year in my second business, and at the same time it would have happened about 4 or 5 months after I finished university, because while I was in university I didn't have a lot of time to do what I needed to do in order to generate that amount of cash, right? So I'm telling you, you're not going to be able. Now some of you all could do what I've done and even more, right? If it is you know what to do up ahead of time, right? I've had to learn, even though I've spent all the years in school learning stuff to become a manager, but not necessarily a business owner, even though they call it business studies, right, in school. The stuff that you learn in school, especially for those who are business owners or who want to become a business owner, I've never looked back at those things to help me scale or do anything with my business, because it's useless. Now, of course, from going to school, I've been able to learn how to read, to talk better, so like to communicate a little bit better, because I learned a little bit in communication skills. I've learned to improve my writing in terms of academic writing. So a lot of that was good, but the real thing I went to school for in terms of, you know, learning how to become a business owner, no, it's not going to help you with that. So keep that in mind. All right, so the next thing is that you want to keep in mind, if it is you intend to become a business owner, can you manage your own finances? Can you manage your personal finances? We know it's a sad thing that the school doesn't teach us how to manage money. And come on, we need money for anything that is worth money in life, such as food, shelter, clothing, and all the other things that we desire, right? So can you manage your money? Because when you get into business and you have to manage the business as a business owner or one of the business owners, somebody has to know how to manage your money. So you have to manage the income and the expenses. Now, anytime your expenses exceed your income, you know what's going to happen there. That's losses, and if that continues to happen, your business will crash. So you have to be able to know that, because it's sad that the school system prepared all of us who went through the system to, like, when you earn money, to spend it. But yes, some money should be used for spending purposes, while the rest should be used for investments in yourself. Because as a business owner, you want to keep learning. Trust me, you want to keep learning, because then you end up behind on your business, it could crash as well. So all of that is important. And you also want to keep investing in your business, improving your business, improving the experience, right? So those are things you have to keep in mind when it comes to business. So if it is you cannot manage your personal finance, I'm not saying this to make anybody feel bad, because trust me, I've had struggles with that myself. Even within my early years of business, I've been struggling with it, because I've never been taught how to effectively manage my money to the point where I could do more in my business, right? And I've had to learn from my own mistakes and learned from other business owners by doing research, and some of them attending their courses or their training programs, right? So I'm telling you all this upfront so that you can avoid going through what I've had to go through. And because of some bad money management, let's say, behaviors that I've had in the past, there are times that, not the first one so much business, but the second business, I've had a time where my business would have gone literally, I would like to say bankrupt, broke, but thank God for his goodness and my belief in God, because I believe in God through Jesus Christ. And there are certain things I've been learning, some skills, and I was able to implement those skills. I must give credit to Patrick Bet-David from Valuetainment, because he's one of the persons I have learned how to scale my business from. Like, one of the first person. I've learned from others after him, but he was one of the first persons I've learned that skill. And because I've learned that skill, I didn't learn it in school, I was able to take my business from $0 to 20,000 plus and stuff a month, right? So managing your personal finances is important so that when you get into business, you can manage your business finance. The other thing you also want to keep in mind is, like, have you paid the price to become a business owner? You see, the price? What price? Well, when it comes to business, there's so much sacrifice that you have to make. Business is like a journey. It's like a newborn. When you now start a business, it's like a newborn baby. Therefore, at the very early stages, you will have to spend way more time maintaining, managing this baby, aka business, right? Just like a newborn. And some of you may know, especially if you are parents or you have younger siblings, how it is having a baby could keep you up for longer hours than you intend to in the early stages. Just like that business operates. So it's like a child that you have to carry with you within the first 5-10 years, and as you mature and you put things in place and you level up in business, then it is at some point, just like when one day your child becomes a teenager and a young adult, eventually you don't have to supervise this child as much as same thing with the business. As long as you do the right things and you keep leveling up and you keep learning and you keep leveling up, then there will come a point, it's called delayed gratification, where you will be able to, I don't want to say fully relax, but you can become like men, like one of the persons I've learned from. I also have his book, right? That is the man, Dr. Myron Gollan. So this is the book that I'm talking about. This is one of his books. I read both of them. The other one is from the Trash Man, the Cash Man. Great books. I recommend you all highly read these books. If I have access to any of the links, I would put it in the description below. So if you want to get those books, I do recommend you do as a business owner. It will help you to manage your finance so you don't get into financial brokenness as a business owner, and then you know about some of the moves that you should make as a business owner. Yeah, so going back to what I was saying, yes, you will have to pay the price. Sometimes you may find yourself working longer hours than when you were working for other persons in your business, especially within the first 5, 7, 10 years. It depends on the business model that you choose as well, right? And it depends on if you choose to level up. Because if you don't choose to level up as a business owner, trust me, it will be like you are minding a business, a baby for life. It's like this. I like that Dr. Myron Gollan called it like this. There are some business owners, I've been there myself. It sounds nice to say I'm self-employed, and it's good to work for yourself because you have that flexibility of time, and you know, you could decide how much money you work for and when you work and stuff. But at the same time, if it is you are the only, it's a one-man show, you're the only person working in your business, guess what's going to happen though? What is going to happen is that if it is you were to get sick, of course we don't want to get sick, but sometimes it happens in life, or you're not too well a day or a week or a few, you'll have to close down your business. There's nobody to run the business other than you. That's why it's always better to level up than just stay at a self-employed position. It's not saying not to start as one. You can start as one, but it's not good to stay there, especially if it is you want to build a business that could be generating you money for as long as you live, plus possibly your generations after you. So you want to keep all of those things in mind. Another thing you want to be very clear about, like, are you self-disciplined? And self-discipline has to be with the ability to, when you write down that you want to do something, you do it. Now, I have a book. This is a new book. Last week I would have purchased a new book because my old one, should I say, is full, where I write my schedule, my daily schedule. I have a planner as well, but I just have the habit of using this book for some reason. But yeah, I would write, like, for today, based on what I'm doing right now, this recording. This was one of the things on my schedule, and I'm doing this before lunchtime, so I'm following my schedule. So as a business owner, you have to become self-disciplined. And now I have to thank God for helping me to become self-disciplined, because before I even started attending college, I never even knew anything about self-discipline. I just thought, okay, here the word discipline would have meant, if you do something wrong, your parents will discipline you. But self-discipline as a business owner, remember, you are going to be managing everything in your business, especially when it's you alone, and then when it's you choose to add partners, it will be you and them managing everything, right? So you have to look out for your own business, like you're looking out for your own child. Therefore, when you become self-disciplined, okay, you wake up a certain hour, you sleep a certain hour, you eat a certain way, you have to exercise because you want to be energized, you want to take your medication or your vitamins to make sure that your brain is functioning and you don't be overly stressed, and you want to eat balanced or as healthy as possible, because when you're up longer hours, I'm telling you, if you don't take care of yourself as a business owner, you will feel burnout, you'll experience fatigue. I've had that myself, so I know what I'm talking about. Therefore, the ability to be self-disciplined in your personal life and then business endeavors. So if it is you have to do payroll or whatever you have to do on which day, you do those things, because if you're not self-disciplined in your business, then eventually your business will come crumbling, and you don't want that. So things that you must do in order to ensure that your business is successful and continues to grow, you need self-discipline for that. The other thing that I would recommend, and these are things you could do or learn before, you don't have to learn all of them before, but you could learn all of them before starting a business. It will be, let's say, more beneficial. I wish I had someone telling me this, so that when you start off business, you start off your business operating, at the beginning, at the get-go, these important skills that can help you as soon as you start to get clientele. Because trust me, a business without lead generation is going to crumble. I'm gonna say that again. A business without leads being generated is going to crumble. So in other words, you can have the best product, you can have the worst product. If it is you don't have people signing up or contacting you, if it's via WhatsApp or message or messenger, or let's say call to inquire about your product or service on a daily, or yes, it should be daily, it should be a couple times per week, then your business is going to crumble. And that's one of the things I did, and I said I learned that from Patrick Bet-David. One of the things I did to help me for the first time, when one of my goals was to start making 20,000 a month. That's a previous goal, that's an old goal, right? I was able to generate a lot of leads. Sometimes I had, and I wasn't spending a lot of money though, but sometimes I had 5, 6, probably almost 10 persons messaging me a day, because one of my main ways of generating lead was people to message me via WhatsApp, because I'm a business owner. I don't have time to be on the phone all day. And also at the same time to sign up, because it's a teaching business. The second business that I'm talking about right now is a teaching business. So you have to make sure you have your thing set, so a person can choose how they prefer. Now, there were still persons who were calling, but the highest volume of leads was via WhatsApp for me. Alright, so some of these skills that you want to acquire, to learn, to develop in order to be a successful business owner, whether you are in business already or you intend to get into business, will be: one, some people call it being able to do copy. It's just a name to say being a sales person. Now, I know some people say, I don't want to have nothing to do with sales. Listen to me, beloved. As long as you want to get into business, and remember, at the beginning, it's most likely going to be you alone. It's going to be a very lonely journey. With me, I can say with God, because I've had God on my side, because I believe in God, right? But if you don't believe in God, it's definitely going to be you alone at the beginning. There, even some of the people closest to you will tell you to forget this business thing. I know I've had them told me that, and it's not because they didn't like me, it's just because at the beginning my business wasn't generating a lot of money, and it's normal usually because start off, people don't know you, you don't really have a lot of credibility, so you have to build your credibility in terms of people being able to say, yes, this person does this, or this person service or good is beneficial, has been beneficial to them. So you have to build that reputation. It can take you a couple of months, or a couple of years, or a year, or a couple of years, depending on what it is you intend to do to build that credibility as fast as possible. But when you start a business, you want to be able to have that the salesmanship mentality. Now I tell you, I never like nothing to do with sales. You could have never catch me going around house to house, knocking people's door, and offering or making a product offering or service offering to anybody. Now I still don't do it like that, and thank God for the internet. And the thing about it, some of you are probably original introverts like me. I know I don't seem like an introvert, but yeah, I was a person who used to be bullied because I was introverted in high school. So yeah, I am a natural introvert. Now I talk more than usual, so they'll call me more of an ambivert, because I have the introverted side and a little bit of the extrovert, but I still always lean to my introverted side because it's more natural to me. However, when you become a business owner, you have to be able to talk, you have to be able to communicate. Because how it is you going to get people to want to buy your product? How it is you going to get people to know that you exist and you offering something? Because if people don't know you exist, you know you exist, you know you have something to sell, but if people don't know you exist, how you expect them to even contact you or inquire anything before making a purchase so you can make a sale, right? So you have to be able to communicate, you have to be able to adopt that salesmanship or being a salesperson mentality, being able to be persuasive, not convincing, right? So that means you have to be clear on your target audience, right? You have to be very clear on your target audience. Now some of you might be wondering, okay, now in the beginning, because I didn't have a lot of cash at the beginning, in fact my second business, because it was a service business, it is a service business because it's still operating, that business, I didn't start with no capital because I needed no capital, right? We could talk, I actually spoke about that in a previous video where I was talking about when I was making 100% profit margins, because I had no expenses really for that business. Sometimes I was making 90-something% profit margins, right? That was at the very beginning, until I started hiring people and the game changed and those things, right? But during that time, one of the main ways I used to get leads was based on Facebook. So on Facebook, I would create like these flyers and I would share it on my business page. I'll share it almost everywhere. I'll share it in Facebook groups, and that's how I would have got people to contact me, because they want to make sure you have a call to action. So I have WhatsApp this number or sign up using this form. Make sure you have at least one call to action on any post that you put out there as a business owner. Otherwise you may think people naturally would see this and be, yeah, I'm going to just contact. No, they're not going to. Somehow if you don't put a call to action, you just posting stuff and you're wasting that post. So make sure you have a clear call to action. The next thing is another skill rather that you want to develop as a business owner is to be able to do consulting, or let's say based on your area of expertise. So if it is you are excellent at sales, you could start doing sales consulting and do it on like a monthly basis and charge persons. It is like making an additional offer, as well as it will help you to possibly double or more your business revenue. Another skill you want to develop as a business owner is, or you should consider, you don't have to do this one, you could consider doing digital marketing or creating your own digital agency, because in this day and age, even I myself I do some of that, but not for other people as yet. However, I must say that it's not easy managing all your social media. So yes, I have workers and stuff, I do, but right now I didn't hire anybody yet to take over that position in terms of the digital marketing and the online, because something I've learned is that you want to get real good at it. It's not saying I'm not good, I am, but I have to make sure whoever is going to replace me in that position as a business owner, I have to ensure that that person is going to be really good and really on top of their game, because that's where the leads is going to come from. That's where the potential customers is going to come from. So you have to be on top of your game, and whoever is taking that position has to be really willing to be consistent and diligent and do things in such a way to have a high conversion level. Another skill, of course I mentioned this before, Facebook, right, was one of the main ways that I got organic traffic. And of lately I've been using YouTube within the last, no, I've been using YouTube since probably 2012, but around 2018 I started to use it for ministry, because some of you may or may not know that I also do ministry things related to God and stuff, like singing and ministering with. But in, was it 2022, late 2022, I started doing YouTube for business. So I have like 2 YouTube channels, one specifically for my school, and then the other one is more like a personalized brand, and I use that to get organic reach. So that is definitely very beneficial. A couple persons, business owners, successful business owners, would have, let's say, persuaded me to take YouTube serious, not personally, but from attending their course, their challenges or programs, their trainings, and some of them listening to them on YouTube itself. And that's like Myron Gould, there are a few more, Think Media, I know his name, I can't remember his man's name, a couple other persons, even Patrick Bet David. There is quite a number of persons, I can't remember everybody. Possibly Israel Duran, because I've been in his program as well. All these people I'm mentioning thus far, these most of them are like multi-millionaires and stuff, right? And most of them use YouTube frequently. And I've been seeing persons messaging and asking, well, replying or commenting and stuff about my services. So yeah, YouTube is a great platform as well. Now moving on to skill number 5. There's a saying, right? I've heard Dr. Myron Golden said this, that in life, depending on where you want to go, your destination, your goal, your end goal, you could choose to get there slow or fast. I'm saying this in my own words, I'm paraphrasing. So if it is you want to go, let's say you want to go from point A to point B, let's say you're traveling or you are on the road, because most of persons can relate to that. You could choose to walking will take you the longest. You could choose to riding will be a little bit faster than walking. You can choose to drive or be driven, that will go faster than the first two I just mentioned. You could choose to use a jet or a plane. So same thing in business, depending on your goals, how much money you want to make, you will have to either choose which market you want to sell to. Now this information, I usually would share more about it in my double to 17x challenge. Yes, so the high ticket, when you start selling high tickets, meaning more premium, some people say expensive, some say don't say expensive, but higher value offers that actually deliver high results to premium let's say customers or clients, you'll be able to accomplish your financial goals faster than someone who's dealing with the customer, just normal customer, business to customer market, right? Because you want to aim at at targeting an audience that have the money and not people. I mean, nothing wrong with helping people who struggling. Like I've one of my business, I'll be helping people who struggling and telling you it's not easy because some of them don't even care about your own business, to be honest. They try to do all kind of things to try to scam you out of your own services. I've had that experience, it's disgusting. But makes me feel sometimes, you know, to stay away from that market, you know. But one of the reasons I've done that because I've had the experience of going through or living or growing up, let's say, in poverty, and then having a little bit of experience being in an extended family with who was earning like a middle class amount of money because of my grandmother and stuff. Yes. Alright, so before I continue, I want to make sure I mention that communication equals wealth, and this is so important. I also go through this in my challenge where once you're able to communicate, and the better you could communicate, the more you would earn. Even if you still choose to stick as an employee working for the person, once you improve your communication skills, it's going to be easier for you to get promoted, right? And as a business owner, on the other hand, once you improve your communication skills, it will help you to, let's say, get on more stages as a speaker where you can, you know, increase your earnings. And this is what I was talking about in terms of communication, because well, that's something I learned from Dan Lok. Now, another thing you want to keep in mind when it comes to businesses is the timing right, or starting a business if you want to. And why did I say is the timing right? So that's in connection with God's timing versus your timing. Now, I know everybody who would be listening to this may not believe in God, and of course that's your choice, right? But I do. I believe in God through Jesus Christ, and I know that God's timing is perfect. Because as I said earlier on in this video, I said that I wanted to become an entrepreneur since the age of like around 11, and I studied what I thought would have helped me to obtain or become that person, an entrepreneur, business owner, and it didn't really help me much. And I had to do my own personal research and, let's say, invest in courses, training programs, seminars, and different things that successful business owners have been hosting in order for me to accomplish my goals. So again, in regards to timing, no, for my second business, it was around 2018 when God placed, because I had a relationship with God. I have a relationship with God all the time, and there were times I would hear God talking to me in my spirit and giving me direction, and He did. And He instructed me to start a teaching business. And guess what I did? I tried to measure the cost to say, okay, I'll need these equipments, I'll need a place, and I realized I didn't have any money. I didn't understand the power of borrowing and loans and stuff and all of that, and I just abandoned the idea and went back to work for other people, for myself in a financial crisis. That's when the financial crisis occurred. And then about a year later in 2019, God brought back to my spirit to start this other business, this teaching business. And during that journey, I encountered one of my previous boss at that particular time. He would have started his teaching business from his gallery, and then I realized all I had to do was start with what I have, right? And sometimes we think when it is we want to start a business, we have to go and buy everything to put together a real nice place. No, start with what you have and build from there, right? So that's why I say God's timing, because had I probably tried to do something like that before, even though I had a business before that, I'm not sure how I wouldn't have been as prepared. Definitely I wouldn't have known what to do, because in 2013 I didn't have an opportunity where I was not hired by a business. I was hired by a family member to teach some students. However, it was more like a personal hire. So it's like I was doing my own thing based on a skill or my knowledge. I was hired based on my knowledge. So practically, after 4 years at that point, that time I had ordinary levels and A levels. And after 4 years and doing that, I didn't even know how to take that little higher and let's say convert it into a full-blown business, because the stuff I learned in school for 4 precious years of mine wasted they didn't even taught me nothing about how to do that. So then it was a waste, right? And that's how I kind of started my business way earlier. But bad knowledge is bad business. Right? And some of you have probably heard me say already, the knowledge that you learn from the school system is not to help you to become like the ones on the top, not to help you to become like the business owners, right? Now I have videos talking about that. I'm not going into all that today, but you all can always go and look at that. Now the other thing you have to keep in mind when it comes to becoming a business owner, like, do you have the mindset for business? And when you intend to become a business owner, you have to believe before you see anything. It's like the Bible saying faith without works is dead. You need to have faith, you need to believe, and then you have to put in the work, right? Another thing is that when things start to go all how, like I said, I've experienced failure in my first business. The second one, there was a time that I dealt with financial brokenness, and then from there I scaled the business. It was 17x, 17 times the amount. So is it that when you start to go through things in business, because of it can be lack of knowledge, and that's why this video is being made to help you avoid going through what I've had to go through. When it is you start a business in particular, would you say that if something like that happens to you, occurs where you deal with brokenness, and would you just go into depression? Like me, because of my relationship with God, I didn't go into depression. I started to pray to God about it. I asked for prayer about it. I know that God knew what I don't know, and what I also started to do, I believe in seeking. Even the Bible says, when you seek, you shall find. I went into my seeking mode. And when I started to seek, I came across a business coach, and I invested. And I learned stuff that I never learned in school, to start up my website and do these different things, and to write books. And then I implemented the stuff I mentioned earlier on from Patrick Bet-David, and scaled my business. I went out of brokenness straight to 20K. Right? So that's what I'm saying. You have to know if you believe in this thing to become a business owner. Even when things look rough, it's rough. When you have low times in business, and you understand that this is my passion, I really want to do this, I really want to accomplish this goal, I really want to serve a certain group of people, and no matter what, I am not going to give up. Giving up is not an option. Success is a must. Right? So you have to decide on that for your own self. Know if you are able to deal with those type of problems and challenges when it comes to business. And the other thing, I know I briefly went through this before, but I'm going to go through it again. Are you willing to sacrifice your time within the first 5, 10 or 15 years of your business? As I said before, business have different stages, right? It's usually called like the introductory stage, that's like the baby stage, and then going into the growth stage where the baby is growing into a young adult, and then you have the maturity stage where it's mature and can eventually stand on its own. And depending on the model or what it is you offer, the business will also have like a decline, meaning that like for phones and stuff, that's why companies like Samsung and iPhone, they usually have different models, because as time progresses, certain things become outdated, so they have to keep up, right? So all those things you want to keep in mind when it comes to business. The next thing I'll be talking about is why everyone should start a business. Now This question could be a little bit like what everybody should start a business. Honestly, everybody shouldn't start a business because I don't think that everybody has the belly and the zeal and the willpower to, you know, endure the different challenges that come with business. But if everybody had that, definitely I would say why everyone should start a business. So the first thing is, like, do you have a product or service or something that you love to do, something you're passionate about, that even if you are not being paid for this thing, you'll do it, that you could sell to other persons, not just for selling sake, but in order to help them solve a problem in their life, and then you could earn as a result. If you do, then you want to continue listening. So what do you like to do? Of course, you want to know what you like to do. And I cannot tell you you will be able to answer the question overnight. Sometimes you might have to like continue self-introspection, I'm telling you, because a couple of years ago when I did my first vision board I had all kind of things there. Some of them I really loved doing, some I was extremely passionate about, others I just put it because I liked it, but it's not things I was really passionate about. So when I updated my vision board a few years later, guess what? The ones that I realized that I just had there because I liked it, but I thought I could have done it, but I would prefer to hire or pay other people to do it for me, I removed it, right? So that's why you want to be very clear, and as I said, you may not get that answer right away. The other thing is, what do people keep asking you about? That's our next way to know what business you should start doing. Because if people keep asking you a question about something and you give them advice, it's an indicator that these people know that you are good, or that you are a master or really excellent at that. And that could be an indicator of something that you are very passionate about, or something that people look up to you for, and something that you could help other people solve. So that could be a great business idea. Also, how prepared are you when you are selling to a high volume of people? Now, the highest volume of persons I've had the opportunity to sell thus far, like on a monthly basis, was about close to 150 people. That's not a lot, I know, but you have to understand that even though that's not a whole lot and my staff is small, and I also still do some administrative work, the thing is this: when it is people keep messaging, even though they're not paying you for all that extra time that some of them will take messaging you day in, day out, and all these type of things, right? But sometimes you would find yourself having to communicate with all these people, and then you have your work cut off for you. I've had that experience, and you're losing an hour more of your time, and that's when I decided, hey, I needed to hire some assistants, some part-time assistants, right? So deal with a high volume of people. If it is you are not keeping up with them, keeping up with their questions, people could see that as being like bad customer service, and I could turn off people that can even give your business a little bit of a bad reputation. So when it is your customer count is increasing, especially if it's increasing rapidly, you should know at this point I need an assistant. It might be a part-time for a few weeks, and then if it keeps going up, you might want to hire the person for more days or more hours or full-time, because you don't want to have a whole lot of people, you know, rush into your business for your stuff, and then you can't keep up, and you burn out, and you're frustrated, and you're stressed, and you think about losing sales, you think about your business crashing, and people want to refund because they're not getting, you know, the response. You want to pay attention to those things, right? And also how to know how to know if your idea is going to work. So before you even get into business, you want to do a feasibility study. What that consists of is, you know, doing some research. Could be on the internet, but also you could do off the internet, but you could get a lot of information on the internet alone. to see, based on where you are located and what it is you want to offer, whether there is a group of people willing to buy or demanding or asking or searching for that product or service. That's one indicator. Then if you choose to set up a brick and mortar business, like a physical business, then you want to do a feasibility study of your area your area of choice. Or if you choose to rent commercial, you want to check all those things out, so that you, before you even start the business, you'll know whether or not, even though yes, there are people demanding my product or service, if I set up in this area, would I get customers? Is it like a low traffic foot traffic area or heavy traffic foot area? Meaning that, okay, is it an area where a lot of people are usually moving up and down, where they could easily just walk into your business? Or is it a place that's really dead, in the sense of you can hardly see people moving around? So, you know, if a person to come, you have to do a lot more advertisements and those things. So all of those things you want to keep in mind when it comes to why everyone should start a business if you choose to start one. Now, moving on to the next section, which is never start a business until you hear this. Now, I believe some of the things I went through before would have given you an idea why you don't want to start a business until you have those things organized. Now, this part is going to focus on, you know, you have a job, you want to start a business, but at the same time, you're not sure if you should quit now or you should quit later. So, when should you quit and start your business? In order, or before quitting, you should probably start the business part-time before quitting. And, you know, work on the, as I said earlier on, you want to work on building credibility, getting feedback, getting reviews, and that will help build credibility, as long as your reviews are positive reviews, of course. Once you have that and you realize, okay, at this point my business is making me more money than my job, because that's something I did while I was in college, when I was working as a student worker, and my business, my second business, at a point was making me more money than the college business. In a sense, was it that? I believe it was more so that my personal business was even paying for me to go to work to do that student. No. I realized it's about time. So that's usually like the best time to quit, when your business is either making you exactly what you making, or if you want to wait until your business is making you more than what you're making on your job, and you're seeing some level of stability with that, you can then go ahead and quit. Now, when it comes to school versus business, I want to talk about certainties with failure and what we are taught. I know I mentioned this before, but you might hear me sounding a little bit, it's like a broken record sometimes, because of the fact that I need to make sure that you'll get this. The school system was never created to produce business owners, nor very high income earners. When you go to school, you are taught to do entry-level jobs, because originally the school system was created to produce factory workers. Now, when it comes to business, anybody who wants to go into business, you learn that from the real world, or you learn it from persons like me who have some experience in the business environment, and you can learn it from other successful business owners that you want to become like, or you want to model in life. So you want to keep that in mind. I would usually advise persons, if it is you want to have a successful business, you want to learn from someone who has been successful in business and who know what they're doing. It doesn't make sense learning these things from lecturers or teachers in school who don't even have a business. They're just reading off a book and teaching you stuff. No, it's not going to get you where I am or other businesses are, right? If I knew what I know now about the school system, I would have ended my education after high school. I wouldn't have gone on to advance, neither would I have continued to university. I would have invested the money I took from my student loan into true business or real business education, so that I would have been able to scale my business faster and be much further ahead in life in terms of my business, right? Alright, the other thing is, how much pain are you experiencing right now? So I know some of you are probably, you're fed up with your job, you can't stand it, and those things that you want to leave. But it really depends on the level of pain and grievance that you are experiencing on the job. Is it that you're not getting paid? Like for me, there was the point where I was being underpaid, like way under minimum wage, and that's a violation of the law, right? And eventually I left the work. So it really depends on what is going on in your life on the job. And if it's costing you more than it's making you might as well leave and start your business right away, right? But just still keep in mind it's going to take some time for you to build credibility, and the more you build credibility, you'll see more customers coming to you naturally. The less credibility, people will be a little bit more skeptical. Some of them would take chances, and that's why when I started my second business in particular, I started selling very affordable, because when people don't know you and you're charging high and you don't have feedback in such as like what you call it, reviews or testimonials, people would be, objective as to, should I even wait, gamble my money? I'm not sure if this person know what they're doing. So all that I want to keep in mind, right? So that's why I started cheap. And then I remember one of my customers, former customers, up to this day, that customer, which was within the first 2 years of my second business, have family members that are taking let's say monthly recurring services with me. And that customer said to me after her daughter would have gotten, because I said I do education as well, right? The daughter got it, her daughter received a distinction in her studies. And the mother said to me, she said, because of the price she paid, because it was so cheap, she never expected that her daughter would have gotten that grade. So it was really shocking to her, because I made sure and give it my all. So that's the next thing. Even though you're charging cheap, and some people feel you want to do low value stuff, give it your all, give it your best, right? Shock them. It's like over deliver, right? And once you over deliver as well as a business owner, you will see the success. Now, how motivated are you? Because I said this before, because when things start to happen, right, business is like a little bit of a slippery slope. You have the ups and downs, you have the highs, you have the lows. The lows is more of the concerning part, and then especially the earlier part where you have family and other members, people that are close to you, will discourage you, as I had from business. What are you going to do in order to keep going? I kept going because I understood that this is something I always wanted to do. I understood that I'm in the early stages. It's going to take me time to grow, so delayed gratification. And trust me, the same people who told me to stop, forget this business, they are going to look for a job, is the same people. One of them right now is working with me part-time because they need extra money. Their job is not paying them enough. The other person just come sometimes and ask for money borrowed. So you see, if I didn't listen to them, and I know they love me, but because those are the actual genuine ones, but when your family and friends do not understand business because they don't know about it, when people don't know about something, you have to expect them to discourage you, some of them at least, or most of them, because they don't know. But that's why you have to make sure you know and understand the benefits of business, so that when and how bad you really want it, so that when persons are not supporting you in the earlies, you understand that it's because they don't understand this. They have never done it before. They don't have the experience. They don't have a clue. So persons will usually discourage you when it is they don't know, right? And as I said before, I didn't have much support like that, but I had Jesus because he was the one who guided me to start that second business, and in him I depend. And when I don't know stuff, I would ask him for directions and he would lead me. Now, you also want to make sure you understand your short-term and your long-term payoff, like how much money you intend to make. Like the short-term is like a weekly, monthly, daily basis. Long-term is like a year, every 5 years, 10 years. So you have that. It's like a sales projection or forecast. Now, another thing you want to keep in mind when or before you choose to leave your job in order to start a business, or to fully go into business if you already have a part-time business and before leaving your job, is when you have a job, you're just doing one function or few in a business. So in other words, if you are a clerk in a school, or you're a clerk in a factory, you are just doing the administrative part. You're not doing all. You might just do a portion of the administrative part, depending on how big the business is, and then how other workers do the production or the sales, the delivery, and all the different things, the marketing, the advertisement. They have all different departments. Now when you choose to become a business owner, guess what's going to happen? You have to do, depending on what type of business, what type of product or service you're offering, you have to function in all. You have to function as the salesperson in the beginning. You have to function as the production worker if you're producing something from scratch or selling over, or if it is a service you're offering, you have to provide the service. You have to deal with clients, the delivery, whatever. You have to do it all at the beginning. So you have to keep all that in mind to know, okay, is this the best time for me to go into this? Is it that I have these skills? No, before I started any of my business, I didn't have these skills. I learned some of these skills along the way, but I can tell you it's better to learn them up front, so that when you start, you don't have to be, trying so much. I want to get this done, or you don't know what to do, time wasting, months going, you're still trying to learn, you're not sure if you're learning from the right person, all kind of thing. If you want to be really secure, it's better to learn them before. But if it is you more on the risky end, and you prefer to learn as you go, you can do that too, right? But when you learn as you go, you don't want to scale too fast as a business, because then you have too much customers just rushing in. And when too much customers rushing in, that could be very stressful, and that could cause you to, start to offer your product or service being degraded, right, or depleted, right? So I still have this to go through, which is 4 reasons to start a business during a recession. Now, the world will have, I want to say, recently experienced what is called the global pandemic. And you all know a lot of things happened there, right? There were businesses that went out of business, no longer existed, failed, gone, bye-bye. That's not something to laugh at, but it was real. There were businesses that, what else? That started up. Now, my second business started before the pandemic. Several months before the pandemic. And God wasn't it. Because during the pandemic is where I first 4x my business. Well, the first time my business increased 4 times the amount I was making before the pandemic. So for me, my business was like a blessing. For others, their business went down the drain, unfortunately, and that's sad, because I wouldn't like that to happen to me or nobody else, right? So the market usually would crash. That's like financial market. It may not be the entire market. It could crash when a recession and stuff. And as I said before, some businesses will go out of business. So persons who are bad in business, or based on what sector they choose, is not needed during the recession. It's not a need, it was just like a want, will go out of business. And that will cause or lead to different sectors of businesses or different industries having less competition. So if you choose to start a business right before or during a recession, you'll have less competition, which means it's easier for you to grow. And then if it is, let's say for example, a company goes out of business, they won't be able to serve their former clients, which means you can now come in and fill in that gap and provide for them. So it's easier in a sense. Now, persons will also be laid off. That's another thing during a recession. And because of that, it's not saying that businesses just want to lay off people because they don't want them or they're not good. Some good and talented or very high skilled persons will be laid off. And because it's a recession and things are not booming, it's low, in the economy, you will be able to possibly hire some of them at a low cost during a particular time and get more talented people to help you boost your business. And one of the final things that you would see or experience during a recession is that you will know who is real in business and who is not. Like who had that businesses that had the ability to endure, to persevere, and who just gave up and quit. So those are like the 4 things to keep in mind to know whether you should start a business during a recession. You will be able to see the businesses that were bad in probably their financial area go out of business. There will be less competition. You will have the opportunity to hire high skilled persons at a lower cost, and also you'll know who was real or really serious about what service. Because I know there are persons who get into business for the money. I do not recommend you get into business for money. Make sure that when it is you decide to start a business, that that you genuinely want to serve people, right? Yes, you will make a lot of money, but you want to genuinely do it. Don't just do it for the money, do it for a higher or a greater purpose, or be very clear about your why. So before I end, because I'm about to, things you want to watch out for in business are financial risk. So when you're in business, especially if it is you are sole trader, partnership, or any of these different forms, if it is you owe banks and different financial institutions and you go bankrupt, you can lose everything in your business to the banks or the financial institution. Now, for those that are like sole trader, partnership, and so forth, you can also end up losing your personal possession if you owe banks. Now, if it's like a public limited company, because they have what's called a veil, and that protects their personal possession from being touched unless one of the judge decides to remove the veil because they think that one of the shareholders or a few of them would have violated something and they need to be prosecuted, then they would remove it. But most of the times when it is a public limited company, it goes into bankruptcy and cannot pay off their debts, then the only the business, whatever they invested in the business, would be lost, but not necessarily, or would be they would lose that, but not their personal possession. Now, also keep in mind, I said this before though, that operating a business, especially in the early, and you have to remember, can be very time consuming because you have to make a lot of time commitment. You can find yourself working more than a normal 40-hour job or work week, 60-80 hours. So you want to keep that in mind, and because of that, you want to be able to schedule your time, and the stress could be up there. Now, I've learned from my experience, even though you're going through stuff, don't stress about it. Just because I have God in my life, so I have that calm, and also I've learned that if you stress about it, it's not gonna fix or resolve the issue. What you want to do, or what you should do, is think about, okay, what are the possible options or the possible actions I should take in order to help me resolve this issue, right? And just like I said, when I went through brokenness in my business, that was one of the things I did. I went into my seeking mode. I sought out different ways that I could level up my business. I was able to, right? So make sure to thoroughly plan before starting a business. I tell you, no matter what in life, in my life, business is going to be it all the way. So you all don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Of course, if you all are interested again in attending my double to 17x revenue challenge, make sure to click the challenge link in the description below. You all be blessed and take care.